It is Sunday school. Come on in. Come on in. Sit down. It is Sunday school, and welcome to what I believe is the 1,473rd or 4th consecutive meetings with you here on Facebook and on YouTube of our little morning get-togethers. 1,400. I started doing this on March 19th, 2020. And maybe my calculations are wrong, but I've tried to do it every day, even during the move here 3 years ago. I tried to do it remotely, by the wayside, by the roadside on our move up here. And I want to say that I need this more than any of you need this. I tell you, it's keeping me, if not sane, at least harmless. Relatively harmless. But welcome, and I intend to keep it up. So don't worry. But yeah, I started almost out the spring equinox of 2020 with the pandemic going. And I called it, at the time, called it what was it? The League of Sequestered Mystics, or the Order of Sequestered Mystics. And that's what we are, I guess. Constance and I have, well, it's just because of our sort of our age and our circumstances that we're sort of semi-sequestered anyway at this time of our life. But that's going to change just a little bit in a couple of weeks because we're starting Monday night magic class again. Now, Monday night magic class was something we did every Monday, unless I was out of the country, for 40 some years. We started Monday night class in 1976 or 1977, and continued it weekly. And for 2 of those years, or 3 of those years, I guess, it was 3 times. It was twice a week we did a class. And that's something we do in our home. Okay. I'll lecture in lecture halls and things like that, which later on this year, I'm going to do one for the Swedenborgian Society in the Bay Area. But anyway, I digress. It was very unsettling when we moved here, and we're still a bit traumatized and unsettled, having to uproot ourselves so quickly from our lifetime home in Southern California, Costa Mesa. And we do have we're lucky enough to find a rental property. We can't afford it, and every month is a monthly miracle. But relatively speaking, it's a lovely neighborhood, and it's a lovely house. But because we don't have storage facilities that we had in our garage in the place we were 22 years in Costa Mesa, much of the doodads and boxes and storage things that we had there we've had to either park at somebody else's house or we've got them stacked up in various places. It hasn't felt like home. Okay. But it was, of course, only a matter of time before Constance, who is the goddess of homemaking, uh, has pulled our living room, dining room area uh, together enough, and we have seating enough to host a regular class event in our home uh, for about 12, 15 people. Kind of squished in a few on the floor and stuff, but that's what Monday night class was like forever anyway. So we've scheduled this to start up Monday night classes again um, with a four-part, starting with a four-part Enochian magic little class series, just to see if anybody's interested and anybody showing up and stuff. Um, what we had down there was sort of like a family thing. Sometimes there'd be 8 people show up, and sometimes there would be 25 people uh, show up. And here we're just starting to dip our toes in the water here to see what we've got. But we really can't host more than um, uh, a dozen people. So we put the word out yesterday um, uh, among the local occultists here and on Facebook and such. And within about 4 hours, we had 13 registrants, which is about 2 more than we thought we could handle. So if you're just reading the announcements that the class is starting, you can feel free to email me or leave me a message that you'd like to attend eventually anyway, Monday night magic class, and I'll make sure that first of all you get placed on the standby list for the class series that starts on the 17th of June. And then secondly, we'll be in touch where you're certainly welcome if we're doing this on a routine basis to be a regular member of the Sacramento DuQuette Monday night magic class. Anyway, that's that. A couple other things. I ran across an old interview with, I think it was a Chinese magazine many years ago. And I said a couple things. Some of it I don't even agree with anymore, and some of it I do. I want to share that with you. But I also wanted to mention that they found a very important relic in Egypt of Ramses II. Okay, now Ramses II he is Egypt. He is ancient Egypt in the popular imagination, and it just seems kind of odd when you go to like the Google News page or the news page where all the world's newspapers have their headlines and stories, to see all of this terrible genocide and events of biblical proportion going on in the Middle East, and have those headlines there, and then have another headlines: Ramses II discovered, Or after thousands of years, Ramses II, reappears. It's very, very it, it's amusing if it wasn't so terribly tragic. Uh, anyway, that's happening today, and I'm keeping an eye on what it was they found. It was a relic. It wasn't his body or anything, I don't think. Uh, anyway, here's the interview. Okay, and when I give interviews to uh, papers or magazines or on the radio, and the interviewer is not coming at things, at the questions or his or her curiosity from uh, esoteric point of view. Okay, they know that I write books on magic, and magic has the word magic carries baggage with it. Okay, because you think of magic, you think of tricks, and you think of if not tricks, great cause and effect. Have you made it rain? Have you affected elections? Or magic has this. The word magic is kind of unfortunate that even Eliphas Levi and Crowley chose to name these techniques of spiritual exercises and disciplines and call it magic. Well, it's inaccurate. It's very accurate. Well, that's why Crowley stuck a K at the end of it to differentiate it from pulling rabbits out of a hat and things like that. But it's almost like saying using a term that most people understand as being something else to describe what you're into. It'd be like using rodeo lingo to describe a meditation technique. Okay, yeah. I'm practicing my steer roping exercise. Excuse me, I'm a steer roper. Yeah. How long have you been a steer roper? How many steers have you roped? No, I'm a bucking bronco. I'm a bronc rider. To describe something that really isn't bronc. That's the position magicians find themselves with when you're trying to seriously answer questions from a sincere but totally clueless interviewer. Not that this interview was clueless, because the questions are really good. Okay, here it is. What do you consider your greatest magical achievement? I caused the California Angels to win the 1989 World Series. My achievement. Okay. I won the California lottery using only Kabbalah and my good looks. Greatest magical achievement. I gained enlightenment, and I walked across the Catalina Channel. How do I answer that truthfully and move on to the next question? What do you consider your greatest magical achievement? My answer was getting this far. I really mean that. That was my answer. And it was as truthful and as profound as I could get in those many words. Getting this far, I really mean that. And disachievement, I'm not sure that's a word, but they said, what do I consider my greatest disachievement? And it was the exact same answer. Getting this far. I really mean it. I like this question. Do you consider yourself a religious person? Yes. For a person that doesn't believe in God the way most people on this planet do, I'm a religious fanatic. In what way? Is the question. I'm constantly interacting with God by discovering and trying to do my will. I'm constantly interacting with God by discovering and trying to do my will. Okay. What is thelema for you besides 93 and will? And I could have answered it with the above answer to the above question, but I didn't. I just gave a one-word answer to what is thelema for you besides 93 and will. Intention. How would you introduce thelema to a native Chinese who never heard of it and has the will to listen? If the person was familiar with the concept of the Tao, I would approach it from there. Will, in its truest sense, is the way. Do you use the internet a lot in your daily work? I use email a lot, and as preliminary to research, I do a lot of web searching. Question: do you find amusing World Wide Web, written shortly as 666? And I say, very amusing. Question: which books would you take with yourself on a journey off Earth if you would leave the world before the book of the law came in front of your eyes? My answer is a deck of tarot cards, the Tao Te Ching, the Bhagavad Gita, the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, the collected works of Shakespeare, and, if I were alone, a few of my favorite erotic images. Question: what did our holy uncle Nietzsche mean by saying that God is dead? My answer: I don't know. Perhaps he was simply observing the shift in universal human consciousness that challenges, indeed destroys, the old concept of deity. Question: can you please describe the moment in history when relationship between magic, as science and art, and religion became traumatic, and why? My answer: as history, mythology, and tradition all get mixed up in people's minds when discussing religion, this is a hard, if not impossible, question for me to answer. If we're talking about the Chrysalmu, that Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, the Chrysalmu religions of the West, then we can certainly point out to the proscriptions of magical practices put forth by Moses or whoever the mythological character or characters the mythological Moses was based upon. But like the Egyptians, from whom Moses emerged and of whom he claimed to despise, he stole the concept of not only allowing an elite group to practice what we consider magical arts, the ordinary people, for whom religion, not magic, is really designed for, should be satisfied with letting an initiated priestcraft play with those things. But think about it. Would you want everybody to be magicians? There's a lot of gross, ignorant, stupid, insane, irresponsible, violent, and self-destructive idiots in the world. Frankly, I'm happy these morons don't dabble with magic and are rendered relatively harmless by oppressive religions. I'd probably clarify that a little better, but that's pretty much it. Question: does magic as a science and art conjoined and the womb? Does magic as science and art conjoined and the womb of all little, quote, little academic sciences, unquote, need official reevaluation and restitution inside the universities and colleges around the globe? Good question. And why? And this is what I was talking about a minute ago. Unfortunately, magic is a word that already has found a permanent niche in the departments of religion, history, sociology, and anthropology of colleges and universities. The essence of what magic really is, however, is currently revolutionizing academia under the guise of quantum physics, and studied and practiced by millions of quite ordinary people under the innocuous title, the power of intention. These are massive global movements and represent the most dramatic shift toward magical thought in history. We should not be too quick to dismiss them because they do not call themselves magic, or because their proponents and practitioners don't wear black and draw pentagrams in the air. 11. Do you find similarities between the Crusades and modern wars that form the common point of view, do nothing but forcefully export democracy with guns to remote places on earth and to people of different mind and believing? What's the difference? And I don't know if I plug it, but my book, The Key to Solomon's Key, has a big section on that period of time vis-a-vis modern religion and politics. But here's what I said here. The Crusades never really ended. The geopolitical realities of today have their roots in that collective nightmare. Throughout all of recorded history, one could not encounter so great an enterprise, inspired by less worthy motives, executed with more cruel incompetence, or led by individuals of more despicable character. And this shows you how old this interview is. Add the names of idiots like George W. Bush and Tony Blair, and change the names of a few countries, and we can see how the madness continues. Boy, what I could say now. Question: Is war something we should love as crowned and conquering children? Good question. Even if we think the killing is unnecessary and primitive. I don't think we should love war, at least not the political kind. What's more unthelemic than surrendering your free will to become a soldier in a war that opposes your best interests? Yes, I know there are all sorts of wonderful spiritual benefits to taking the path of the warrior, but getting one's self enmeshed in the madness they today call war is, in my opinion, taking the path of the sucker. In the Aeon of Horus, the individual is the basic unit of society, not the family, not the tribe, not the country, not the race. What's more unthelemic than throwing away your individual life for a manufactured cause? Of course, there are exceptions and circumstances where involvement in war could be the could be unambiguously part of one's will. But it damn well better be. 13. What is the idea of these wars through the perspective of the third chapter of the Book of the Law? And in this, I have diplomatically and I think appropriately said, I can't comment on that. Yeah, don't make me translate the Book of the Law to you or interpret. Next question. When a modern man passes through the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, he or she spontaneously compare their times with ours. But when I think out, they had all except mobile phone, Mac, and WWW. On the other side, they don't know democracy, Freud, and Christian ethics of guilt. Now tell me, please, are we stupider or wiser than old Egyptians? My question, I don't know. Question, let's say you're invited to form an independent department of Western magic, science, and art studies on Cambridge University or Sorbonne, with decent salary and perfect freedom. Would you take such a job? My answer, in a heartbeat. Why? Answer, because I'm just the guy that could do it. What is the difference between Catholicism, as understood by the Christians, and Catholicism viewed through the prism of the office of EGC Archbishop? Oh, now you're getting there, huh? Catholic simply means universal. And what's more universal than the magical formulae that characterize an aeon? Why is Aleister Crowley still a dangerous man and a fountain of paranoia in the Western mind, in the ordinary Western mind? Because not everyone is intelligent enough, educated enough, open-minded enough, interested enough, courageous enough to do a little honest homework on the subject. Do you think he really enjoyed being accused as the wickedest man on earth? And I said, up to a point, I think he really loved it. What is the relation between old Freemasonry and OTO now? Now? None. Absolutely none, except to show how good ideas can become better. question. In your opinion, can we say that Enochian magic is the patent? Remember that English is not the interviewer's first language. Is the patent, like you would patent a machine or something like, or a book, of Dee and Kelly, or was it in use before the Renaissance? Who might possess the keys beside Enoch? There's so much kind of, it's apples and oranges, and it's a strange question. While it is clear that Dee and Kelly were not starting from scratch, for the most part, the body of material that we call Enochian today came through Dee and Kelly and developed by the Golden Dawn and modern practitioners. 21. What is the relation of OTO with other Western, non-Christian, or pagan traditions like Wicca or Voodoo, for example? Is there any dramatic similarity, or is there just a non-Christian attitude that connects them under the Western formula of Stairway to Heaven? And this is a good idea, or it's a good question. Non-Christian attitude. Okay. We've all encountered, especially among fledgling magicians and fledgling witches and fledgling neo-pagans, of this, they identify themselves more by what they're against and they dislike than by what they understand and are for. And it's very easy to be a knee-jerk anti-Christian, okay, because of all the centuries, the millennia of stupidity done in the name. And the manifestation of those who call themselves Christians. And it's easy to become knee-jerk cynical. And so, well, if Thelema is against that kind of stupidity, then I must be a Thelemite, or I must be a witch. Okay. So the non-Christian attitude, I'll say it again. Let's see. What is the relationship OTO with other Western or non-Christian or pagan traditions like Wicca or Voodoo, for example? Is there any dramatic similarity, or is there just a non-Christian attitude that connects them under the Western formula of, quote, Stairway to Heaven, unquote? And I just simply answered, the OTO enjoys cordial, informal relationships with people and leaders of many traditions with whom we share common goals and interests. Should magical knowledge be institutionalized at all outside the true magical orders who are inspired by good tradition and dignity? Why? Oh, I think it already is, and I'm glad. The mysteries keep themselves secret and need to be discovered by each individual. This can be done either within or without institutions and orders. And the last question, I think this is the last question. Yeah. The revelation of Enochian magic and the law of Thelema in the context of Christianity looks like two mighty claws that tear apart the illusion of the old dying God and religion. What is the difference, and what similarity of Enochian on one and thelemic magic on the other side, if looked upon as two different new aeon systems of magic and self-initiation. That's really hypothetical because they aren't different new aeon systems. The spiritual universe as revealed to Dee and Kelly during their Enochian operations was a shocking departure from the Christian worldview of the day. But in my opinion, it was a matter of the spirits simply revealing the way things are rather than announcing an age-changing shift in magical formulae. Crowley's use of the system in the series of operations chronicled in The Vision and the Voice is a magnificent example not only of how one aspect of Enochian magic can be used as a process of self-initiation, but also how, in the hands of a prophet, can serve as a tool of universal revelation. This does not, however, make Enochian magic thelemic per se. Enochian magic, like all magical systems, is only the magic of Thelema when the magician is a Thelemite, and his or her operations and intent are in harmony with the Thelemic formulae. Okay, I thought that would be a cute thing for us to revisit here on our Sunday school. Tomorrow, we'll get together for the Order of Monday morning, OOMM. And starting on the 17th, it'll be the Monday Order of Monday morning, the morning of the Monday night magic class, at least here in Sacramento. People have asked, can we videotape or live stream the Monday night magic classes? And the simple answer is no, because the Monday night magic class is a personal thing, and they're workshops, and they require an interaction, or they operate with an interaction with each of the class members and attendees, and we do scrying sessions and things like that, and those are highly personal things, and we respect people's privacy who come to our home, and we don't make a spectacle of it. Perhaps sometime if we do things on the sort of like a slide presentation or something where we don't put people on the spot thinking they're going to be seen by a couple thousand people, that may be a different situation, but not Monday night class. When you come to Monday night class, it's safe space, it's private, and we respect that. So to answer that question, which many of you ask, that's the answer. For the moment, I've got lots and lots and lots of workshop videos and things that I encourage you to order and listen to and play back hundreds of thousands of times if you want. And we have our morning get-togethers that are live streamed. So other than that, no, we're not going to live stream Monday night magic class. But until tomorrow, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.